Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. Make you want to holler, hidey-ho. Burns your tummy, don't you know? Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug.
All right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I am Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We are at the TunnelTop.
The TunnelTop.
On,
and
was it Stockton and Post? Is that right?
I think it's, I believe it's Bush.
Bush, you're right.
Yes,
you're
Bush.
right.
And
it's right on top of the Stockton Tunnel, I believe.
I don't follow the why it's called this then.
Yeah, it's weird.
This is a bar that I don't usually go to. It's not
I've never been here before.
Oh, really? Wow. So
first time.
You're a TunnelTop virgin.
First time, long time.
By the way, a TunnelTop virgin in
Right.
in prison means something different, but whatever.
Like that'll cost you $50 extra in Vietnam.
This is a bar I don't usually go to. And it looks kind of, it's got a lot of like wood, you can see all the wood beams at the top, but it doesn't feel like that, like those places we've been where it's like reclaimed wood and it's totally, like you kind of feel like they basically just like
found it in this shape.
Yeah, tore it open and said, oh, this looks good. Like they didn't like have some.
It's like, hey, this old whorehouse looks good.
They didn't have some like Icelandic conceptual artist come down here and put the wood together.
Oh no, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Is that it looks like the natural occurrence of what like Trick Dog paid like $4 million to achieve.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's kind of really refreshing when you come to a place where you feel like, oh, you almost feel like this kind of naturally happened. Right. There is a lot of affectation in here because it's an artist bar.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like arty shit around here.
It's not like arty in the sense of like 111 Minna or anything like that though. It's not. Yeah, it is like a bar first and foremost. It seems like, and then but they've gone the pretentious extra mile of putting framed art with lights on like a museum. But
we're upstairs and like the bar is downstairs and then you have this sort of atrium and you can sit. It's actually really nice. You can sit at the top and kind of look out the window or look down and condescend to everybody.
Yeah, it reminds me of my previous Bar of the Year winner, the Hotspot. In that respect, in that you have like this sort of like loft area where you can sit in godlike judgment over everyone that walks in.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a great perch so where you can see people and
look at that guy's bald spot. Fuck him.
Who says that? Brendan Lynch says, being a tall guy, it's kind of good, but you also know when your friends are going bald before they do. So we're up top, and just to give our listeners an idea of the art decor in here, there's some religious iconography on the wall over there.
Check.
There's these framed black and white high contrast photos
of sad children and stuff like that. So check,
maybe like a clown crying or something like that.
Right.
And of course, in the middle, the centerpiece
of course. We don't have to tell you. You probably guessed already.
There's a mannequin with a chainsaw in a bird cage, and it's
indeed,
it's 10 feet tall.
Right, covered in light bulbs at the bottom, which is actually kind of cool.
That old chestnut.
Right. And then there's a hanging video projector that seems to be showing just sort of random vacation pictures and or scenic
or artistic stuff. I've been watching that and I've been out of the art game for a long time.
Right.
I can't I used to be able to talk a little bit of game there.
Well, yeah, we went to one of the world's most famous art schools.
But we went to film school.
We went to Tisch.
Right, yeah. But there is that moment when you start talking to somebody about whether it's art or anything, where you realize, my arsenal of bullshit is not going to cover this. And that's when if you're lucky, you don't double down on how little you know.
Right.
What you do is you kick back, and if you're talking to somebody who knows a lot about art, you let them go.
Exactly.
Because I'm just oh, yeah, Banksy. And that's my entire, right now, that's my entire catalog of art conversation.
So if someone starts to call you on it, just throw in a word like revisionist at them or something like that. Be like, well, that's kind of a revisionist way to look at it.
That's he's really redefining the paradigms of black and white photography.
I guess if you want to look at it from a undergraduate point of view, I suppose you're right.
Yeah, I used to think that. It's one of my favorite.
It's really nice that you
Yeah,
still think that's adorable, really.
Yeah, I used to think that. Then I read a little bit more.
Wow, like talking to you is like time travel, man. It's like seeing myself 20 years ago.
Don't worry, you'll get there. It's fine. So one of the things I was like observing, like they had this slideshow. Basically, some guy is like projecting whatever
Horseshit, really.
Horseshit he's got on his computer, right?
It's like a screensaver that he's calling art.
Well, so the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff is clearly very artistic. Like, you know, for like, you know, you just know. I mean, it's like that kind of art, like conceptual art, or it's just like really kind of, you know, stylish art. You know?
Yeah.
And then every few frames, there's like this close-up picture of this super hot girl's ass. You know, and it's like, yeah, and like, yes, it's very sensual. And it's done in a very artistic way.
So I think that's like the secret of like you know, getting people's minds open for art is like, you know, giving them a little ass every once in a while.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're looking at all this stuff and you're like looking at all these like shapes and figures and you're thinking about negative space, and then the next slide comes up and you're like, oh yeah, pussy. I forgot about that for a half a second.
You're like, my God, look at the colors in that, you know, that beautiful nature photography. Oh, bush.
Ooh, yeah, there we go.
Look at that mound.
Yeah, I wonder who the artist is who did that. I really think like if you were to put if you ran a slideshow like they have here, and you put all these artistic pictures together, and you just threw in one like black and white dick pic, like people would just be like, bravo. Bravo, sir. Who's the artist here? The artist?
Like, do you think, like, so the guy that, like, whoever made, like, the mannequin with a chainsaw and a bird, I mean, like, that's a lot of work. Like, there's, you know, that's probably, you know, at least a good 40 hours worth of work, I would think. Probably a lot more than that.
What do you
like, do you think he, like, is pissed off at the guy with the video projector that, you know, that's like, it's like, oh, really? We're both artists? Like,
yeah,
I fucking worked, like, a year on this, and you put your fucking screensaver up here?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You're the same.
It's nice you figured out that iPhoto program. That's great. Yeah.
It's like, and you guys, you cut up some magazines and put them in fancy frames. Like, you guys are artists too.
Your slideshow's fine, but it's no mannequin with a chainsaw in a birdcage.
Right. Like, I guess I just choose to work on a little more time-consuming art. That's all.
Have you ever bought art, Andrew?
I have, but I mean not
porno mags.
That doesn't count. Damn it. You're saying that old withered episodes or withered issues of Penthouse Forum don't count?
Gent?
Jugs?
I love Gent. I mean, I don't even know if it's still around, but it's like, yes.
This is like a super classy porno, right?
We have a lot of close-up photography of naked women, but be a gentleman about it, okay?
It's for the masturbating guy who wears an ascot.
It's like, yeah, for guys who like to like beat off while wearing a monocle.
Exactly. Like, for someone who, like, as they ejaculate, says, "Oh, fancy."
Ooh, well done. Well done indeed. So you bought some art. I've never really bought some art.
No, I've never. I'm trying to think if I've ever bought like original art, because I've bought like me and my wife have like every couple of years or something like that, we'll buy a print from this artist named Josh Agel, and it's all sort of like like high color, mid-century modernish, almost like old album cover art. Like,
I haven't seen it. It's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
And I mean that stuff. Like an original goes for thousands and thousands of dollars, but like, limited signed print or whatever of 500 copies or whatever, like is like $200 or $300, and then you get like a nice frame for it. And
do you get to?
Like that, I mean, I guess that's art, but like it's not like art. It's not like.
Do you get to like say, write to him, like, I want to buy this, and it's like, oh, it's going to be signed. And you'd be like, okay, can you write to my best friend Andrew?
Right. Well, I always say, can you send me number 69? It's like, don't ask why.
This is going to go great in my slideshow. But like I'm looking at the mannequin with a chainsaw in the birdcage.
Right.
And
mannequin 3, mannequin in a birdcage with a chainsaw.
That's right. This mannequin doesn't look anything like Kim Cattrall. I'll say that much.
No. I don't think Kim Cattrall doesn't really look like Kim Cattrall much anymore.
But how much do you think something like this would go for? Because like that's the thing. I'm like, I mean, it's really big. And I used to work at Gap, and at Gap they had Don Fisher was an art collector. And when you walk in, you had a gallery at 2 Folsom that if anyone has a chance to check out the Fisher Gallery at 2 Folsom, definitely check it out.
Right.
But like when you walk through the gallery, you understand like his eye for art is he liked big, like bigger. Like he's got these massive like Liechtenstein
Right.
like, things on the wall, like this massive wall, and
So that means he has like a small dick.
Remember Eric Bogosian, who was a
Spoken word
performance artist.
Yeah.
He used to do a monologue where he was like, had one character who said that, back in the day, rich people used to go on safari and they would shoot these powerful animals and then cut their heads off and bring them back and like display them. It's like nowadays rich people buy art that they don't understand, but like they're basically buying. It's like super expensive. They're like, I can afford this fucking.
Right.
I don't know the ode to squares.
Well, it is weird that because like clearly like somebody like William Randolph Hearst or like like some of your like even like what's his name Teddy Roosevelt who went on like those huge safaris and like killed like countless elephants and like stuff like that.
Weird
like,
guy.
I know, it's like, well, like clearly like guys like that like had a big size thing, like where it was it's like if I can like have the a house that takes up like a million acres and like no one can live like within like 100 miles of me, that's perfect. I'll just build a moon-sized thing to live on. Or
it seems like so like reduction. Like it's like their only formula for what is good is big.
Right.
It's like
it's like Donald Trump. I mean, like it's the same way where it's like everything's got to be gold and have a name all over it. Otherwise, it's not real.
It's like if you have a friend who's just like, I like girls with big tits. You're just like, oh, really? That's great for you. Great formula you got going there.
Well, it's weird. Like the other day, I was like driving around in the East Bay as I do, and I was just noticing like all of like the massive like when it goes beyond like a sort of regular SUV, and then it's like one of those like GMC Denali's or like the Suburbans or these like massive, way too big like trucks, and they're like, I'm gonna say like in the East Bay like 7 times out of 10, it's like these little tiny Mexican women that are driving them. It's like, and it's so crazy because like I think that like there must be like. I think like it takes like at least a couple generations of like getting out of like being poor to middle class, where you're like all your purchases aren't like big fuck yous to like to poor people, where it's like I have a huge truck, I have like a massive house that I don't need, I have like
it's like I saw a photo today of the house that Steve Jobs lived in Palo Alto.
Okay.
Super modest house.
Really?
And then it was big, but it wasn't like gaudy or anything. Like, and then they showed like Mark Zuckerberg's house in Palo Alto. It's just like massive, fucking ridiculous. I mean, like maybe that's the thing where it's like maybe if you get so much money or you grow up, you're like, maybe I don't have to have the biggest fucking house, the biggest car, or like whatever. It's just like it doesn't make any sense. I mean, there was like that rash when my old company moved to Vegas. All the people were high up were buying like what they call McMansions.
Yeah.
And it's just like one after the other. People are just like, you know what, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I've like 20, like 5 rooms I never even see, and like, what's the point?
We've got 1 kid, and we've got like 7 bedrooms, and like
3 air conditioning units,
and like our mansion looks exactly like the mansion across the street. This is stupid. So, whatever. I mean, I don't know how we got on that. I was going to ask you, how much do you think the mannequin in the birdcage with the chainsaw goes for? I would think because it's big, it would go for a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm going to guess $25,000.
Wow. Yeah, I would go with that. That's the thing. Like, I feel like if you are an artist and you suddenly break through, then like everything's priceless.
Well, and I almost feel, and maybe this is totally unfair. I mean, like, obviously we're both approaching this from, as you've already said, like a ridiculous amount of ignorance, like about the modern art scene.
It's never stopped us before about commenting on stuff.
Exactly. After this, we'll talk about 50 movies we haven't seen.
That's right. The tsunami of ignorance that we bring to the mic every week.
Exactly. But like, I gotta think that in a city like this, full of so many young millionaires, like anything that's just big and stupid is worth like a lot of money. Like
Yeah, but
if you have like an old like Chevron gas station sign, some asshole in like the mission is probably going to want to put it in his apartment.
Right, that's true. I mean, but also like if you have that much money, you may have the space. But it's like if you're somebody who like moves to San Francisco and has a lot of money, and you're like, I want the biggest and best of everything, and you realize, wait a minute, like I got this massive car and I can't find parking anywhere for it. Like
Right.
I mean, you're better off getting like one of those little smart cars, and then you will have like less stress.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, 99.9% of the reason to have a car like that is just to drive it around and, like, get hand jobs from random women.
Wake up, rich people.
Right.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. And like, there's some like we haven't even talked about news or anything yet. Like, there's like all kinds of stuff going on.
Andrew, I don't know if you know this. There is a mannequin with a chainsaw in a birdcage. We don't have time for news.
That's the lead story.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We'll be back from the tunnel.
Light years away.
All right, this is SFBarkast. We are back
At the
T2.
the T squared,
T squared,
the tunnel top.
T cubed, the tunnel top.
No, that would be the tunnel top. Yeah, you're shit. Like, I was getting ready to like jump all over you and be like, excuse me, there's only 2 T's.
Very good. You're very like strict with the math. I know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna say T cubed when.
Looking around at the crowd that we're engaging in.
Ooh, must I?
I am thinking this is a very good place to go after work.
Yeah, it's a happy hour bar for sure.
Or on a Tinder date.
Could be. I've noticed a few possible Tinder or what's the gay version?
Grinder.
Oops,
I don't know.
Gotcha. I don't know.
During the break, I went to the bathroom and ouch.
What the hell did you do?
Sorry, I just hurt. Like I'm sitting in this very uncomfortable chair. And I think I just.
Such an old man podcast. It's like every once in a while, one of us will pull a muscle just sitting at a bar.
Exactly. Jeff, he blew his ankle out sitting in a bar stool.
Right. Tore my rotator cuff, pouring a beer down my throat.
So before I was so rudely interrupted by pain,
by tearing flesh,
I went to the bathroom, and I love the bathroom here because you walk in the door. And then there's a sink. It's like a really small room. There's a sink, and there's 2 doors.
Ooh, choose wisely.
Exactly. Yeah, it feels like this, like you're in some like Hobbit tunnel where it's like behind one of these is going to be a toilet. Behind the other one, who knows? It could be like a mind troll or something.
Yeah, like a gateway to another dimension.
Ooh, you have chosen wisely. You may take a piss now.
That's right. Go ahead and release your bowels. Like overall, like it just like if I walked into this place sight unseen, I don't think I would. I'm not sure if I would guess right away that it was an actually old bar.
Yeah.
But but it really, I mean, it is, and I love the layout of it. Like it's.
Yeah, you know what? I have to say, maybe because we got like a good seat upstairs, and we have a really good perch, and we can see everything.
Even like downstairs, I like the fact that like there's windows that open. Yeah. And and so you've got like street traffic like sort of intermingled with like there's a lot of bars that sort of like don't take advantage of the fact that they can
you're
open
right.
a window.
I was gonna like make fun of you for being like easily impressed. It was like these windows open.
Ooh.
But like no, you're right. There are a lot of bars where it's like you can't open that window.
Right.
Can I look at it? No. Just
pull the curtain. Stop it.
No, but in the short time we've been here, I feel it's a really comfortable bar. I like where we're sitting, and it's like it seems like,
It's like it's sort of a cross between like the hot spot and Vesuvio, like the upstairs of Vesuvio.
Yeah.
Like where you've got that sort of
It's
catwalk.
like Vesuvio without all the shit on the walls.
It's like Vesuvio without all that annoying. Was it Rob Cantrell that was there?
Oh, Rob Cantrell's great. So what is happening in the news?
Well, in our nonstop cavalcade of misery that is the late 2014 through early 2015.
I know you're having a bad year. Personally, myself, I'm having a pretty good year.
To be quite honest, this particular news story didn't really affect me that much. I mean, like, it's one of those.
How dare you?
It's one of those people that lived a very full life. So you don't feel like they're cut down in their prime, or kind of like Ernest Borgnine, for example.
Don't leave our listeners waiting. Tell them who you're talking about.
A pinch on, pinch with my fingers by Mr. Spock.
A Vulcan nerve pinch away.
Exactly.
I don't know what that means.
Leonard
yes,
Nimoy.
the very recently late Leonard Nimoy died, and
he always seemed like a sort of badass '60s sumbitch.
Yeah, he did like a lot of other things, like for better or worse. Like he was a singer, kind of, and
Yeah.
I made the air quotes with the hands.
Well, he was sort of like born into that era where like if you had some celebrity, you could sing, nobody could stop you. Like you could record an album.
Dude, nobody can stop you now.
Right. I mean, it's like
you can start singing right now.
Exactly. But he always seemed like an interesting. I always who Adam Driver is from like the TV series Girls. Like he always seemed like a '60s version of like Adam Driver or something like that. Like he's sort of like like this like lanky, lanky big Jewish guy that like like to sing and like express free love and all that '60s shit.
He wrote a book that I believe was called "I Am Not Spock."
Oh, okay.
And then afterwards, after a few years, he wrote a book that was called "I Am Spock."
Wow.
So full circle
Bullshit.
on the Leonard Nimoy. Well, no, I have a friend who.
You think it was just like he took the original book and just negated everything that it said?
Exactly.
He's
like,
I really wasn't born in.
Just read the old book backwards. This is my new book.
Exactly.
So I have a friend who went to the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and he was on a.
Go Seahawks?
I think they're the 49ers?
49ers. You know what? UNC Wilmington is the Seahawks.
Yeah, they're the Seahawks.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Don't interrupt my story.
Put all your money on UNC Wilmington.
Oh, we should get to that later. So my friend Leonard Nimoy came to his university, and he was going to do a book signing, right? And it was like a book of poetry or fucking
some bullshit,
like whale songs or some shit like that. That
Right.
He did a lot of weird stuff, and he said, like my friend Jim said that like he went just because he was like a big Star Trek fan, and like Leonard Nimoy did not want to like talk about Star Trek at all, which is like really problematic.
I'm here to discuss 3 Men and a Baby, which I directed.
But like no, he was there to like promote some book he wrote, and it's like Jim said he felt really bad for Leonard Nimoy because all these people were there because they love Spock and they love Star Trek, and like when they opened it up to questions, like some nerd would just be like, "Are you going to go on Trek cruise like 91?" And he would just like lean over to the mic and just go, "No," and then lean back.
No, I'm sorry. Let me change that answer. No, you dateless wonder fucking asshole.
Did I mention I wrote this fucking book for you?
But you know what? Like, is that justified or not? Because I almost feel like, you know what? Like, you can't use your fame for one thing, and then just tell all your fans to ignore it. You know,
well, I
that
think
doesn't seem
that's
right.
I think that's where the second book came in, the I Am Spock, because like when he wrote I Am Not Spock,
Right.
he was just basically kind of like standing up for himself and just like, look at me, I'm an artist, I do all this, I play guitar,
Right. Everyone's like, who cares?
I play jazz guitar and it gets me lots of pussy. Like I'm not Spock. But
I can do gravity bongs standing on my head.
Right, and then like he realized that he came across kind of being like an asshole.
Probably.
And then he was like, yeah, you know what, maybe I shouldn't picking a fight with some nerd that lives in his parents' basement, like maybe that doesn't make me look that sympathetic.
Well, actually, he probably realized, he was like, oh, you know what? My bank account has not been doing very well lately, and all I have to do is change my mindset about the people that like love me, and not tell them to go fuck themselves whenever they try to give me money, but instead just collect it.
He's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I try not telling people to go fuck themselves. I've tried one side. Now we're not going to try the other side. All right,
So now that we've shit all over the dead Leonard Nimoy.
So, I don't know. Rest in peace and prosper, I guess. Whatever, Leonard Nimoy.
Whatever.
So like, yeah, man, like I was shocked and saddened to hear that. You seemed like a cool guy.
We've had a week to deal with it, so I'm over it.
There you go. All right, but you know what? The world does not rest.
Right.
Today, as we came in here.
God doesn't stop killing people once he gets to Spock.
All right, I'm going to take a break. We got Spock.
I'll let everyone process that for a while.
So today, Harrison Ford.
Han Solo himself.
Apparently, he's not the pilot that Han Solo was.
Well, hasn't he, like, am I thinking, like, there's either him or, like, Tom Brokaw or, like, you know, one of those, like, Montana living assholes, like, flies helicopters and, like, rescues, like, people off of mountains and shit. Like, it might have been Harrison Ford. Like, I think he lives in, like, Wyoming somewhere or something like that, and is like, drives, like a rescue helicopter in his off time or something. It's
Dude, that would be so great, because like if you're like, you know, the stranded person, you're like, oh my God, thank God, I'm saved. And Indiana Jones?
He's like, aren't you that guy from Regarding Henry?
Like, you were in Working Girl. Oh my God. Excuse me, I think we may need to amputate your leg. Working Girl was so underrated. Mike Nichols is a genius.
Exactly.
The frostbite is spreading to your brain.
But so Harrison Ford went down in a old-timey military plane on an LA golf course.
And I hope Harrison Ford is okay, because
me too, yeah.
I do when you go back and you watch Star Wars,
right,
he's like the only cool character there. Like, you know, Luke Skywalker, who's supposed to be the hero, like it takes like 10 minutes to realize this guy is a space wimp. And you got like Harrison Ford there, and he's just like this kick-ass anti-hero.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really hope he's okay.
Yeah,
But
totally.
on the other hand,
plus he's like he seems like a fun guy. Like apparently he's like him and he's married to Ally McBeal, right?
Yeah, Callista Flockhart.
Yeah, and like apparently like they just live in like Wyoming or Montana or whatever and smoke pot all the time, and and then he goes like and flies planes and helicopters and like so.
And you know, like I said, I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
But come on, Harrison, what do you like? Why are you flying a World War II relic?
Right.
And he's like 72 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's where it gets like stupid. Like just knock it off. Really, are you really not going to be able to sleep tonight unless you flew the fucking Sopwith Camel or whatever?
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the third Indiana Jones movie, there's a shot of him and Sean Connery.
Okay.
And one of those very similar planes flies right by them and crashes right behind them. So get your GIFs ready.
We named the dog Indiana. That's what Sean Connery said in that movie.
Sounds just like him. Yeah, so I hope he's all right. But Harrison Ford, maybe, I don't know, take up bungee cord jumping, something less.
Hopefully it'll be like who was it? Lloyd Bridges or like one of those
Jack
guys like crashed in a helicopter like 30 years ago and like is still alive. I think it might be Lloyd Bridges, or wait, who's the other one? I mixed them up with.
Jack Palance.
No. It's like who's Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas is who I'm thinking of actually.
Oh right,
like,
yeah.
He almost died in a helicopter crash like 25 years ago, and he's still alive.
He is Spartacus.
Like an asshole.
Like an asshole.
Keeping his inheritance away from his kids.
I had my last night was my trivia night at the Right Spot.
Yes.
And
I hope all of our listeners went.
If anybody is interested in playing, it's a monthly. It's the first Wednesday of every month.
There we
at
go.
the Right Spot on 17th and Folsom. Am I done with my plugs? My shameless plugs? But
how did it go?
One of my questions was, the name of the president's jet airplane is called Air Force One.
Yes.
What is the name of his helicopter?
Ooh. Is it Air Force 2?
It is called Marine One.
Ooh, I see.
So there you go. So you
Good,
get you learn a little something.
A little laugh and learn.
A little laugh and learn.
Oh, fantastic.
So there you go.
There we go.
And congratulations to whoever won last night. No,
To whoever won. I didn't bother to remember their name or give them a prize or anything.
it is really fun. And like I realized that I've talked to some other people that do trivia nights.
Right.
And there's like 2 major companies in San Francisco that do trivia.
Really?
And they tend to do it like online. Like you can get like a little pad and they have like somebody come and like dress all crazy and like they're just like the host. But it's like super corporate.
Right.
The
Sounds terrible.
The Jeff Cleary Trivia Implosion is
Low rent.
100% independent alt trivia.
Alt trivia.
It's
Right.
like
It's artisan trivia.
My trivia is like the first Smashing Pumpkins album before they started sucking. Okay.
That's right. It's the Gish of trivia.
So what else is going on in the news?
Well, actually, one thing I heard about was I don't know if you're paying attention to the race to see who replaces Jon Stewart.
Nope.
But Samantha Bee and Jason Jones from The Daily Show signed to do a show by themselves on TBS. So they are out of the running.
Okay, so this is where you and I may disagree, or I don't know, but like
You think
those
they suck?
two, they suck. They're not funny. They've had like their funny moments.
I think
but
you're
feel
confusing them with Canadians. Like,
No, they are Canadians.
Right.
Like I know, like I don't know what it is. Like they've made me laugh in the past,
Yeah.
but purely accidentally. Like
Yeah, you know,
maybe I saw someone slip on a banana peel while they were on the TV.
It's not a two contestants I'm that upset about losing. I guess for that
So
job.
who
I'm
else
not
is-
sure who I'm really like
I believe
pulling for. at
I
this
believe
point.
there was like someone was like putting odds on it, and they were saying that Tina Fey is one
I can't
of
see
the
her
best odds.
wanting to do that though. Like she
Yeah,
doesn't
I
seem
would-
like that type that like needs that.
I hope they pick a woman. That would be nice.
Yeah, like I think she's doing a show with like Billy Eichner or whatever like that now. But like Julie Klausner would be a great choice. Like she's a really good host and like she'd.
What about John Fugelsang?
Fuck John Fugelsang.
What about Frank
Sure.
Conniff?
What about Frank Conniff? No.
I noticed that Jimmy Dore has already started petitioning on his own show.
That's right. Please get him out. Get him out of here.
And what about Barry Sobel?
What about? Well, he has talk show host experience,
That's true.
and if he's not on his way to Mars,
He could, bring the late night talk show to a lot of like young skateboarders in Southern California.
Ew, gross.
All right, you want to take a break?
Let's do that so I can go to the bathroom. I'll go check out this bathroom you've been talking about and throw up in the toilet.
Okay, very good. All right, this is SFBarkast. We are at the TunnelTop. And what would you call this neighborhood?
I guess I would. It's still the Union Square, or is it like
or
a
Nob Hill?
borderline Chinatown?
It's like right in between Nob Hill, Union Square, and Chinatown.
Yeah, it's like a no man's land. It's a dead zone.
It's like the forbidden zone.
Your son is gonna fall through the ice.
The ice is going to break.
Wow.
I think your Christopher Walken's. Your Christopher Walken. What was that movie?
The Dead Zone?
The Dead Zone is better than my Christopher Walken Dead Zone.
I do a really terrible Christopher Walken unless I'm like really hammered and and I need to scream something and I'll be like wow. Then you can do Christopher Walken. But other than that,
He needs to
no
get
dice.
really hammered. Is he going to be okay with that? Don't worry, he's a fucking artist. Let him do those. Let him do those shots. All right, so we'll be back from the TunnelTop.
All right.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Just a little bit of patty cake with no hands. Got me in this club making wedding plans. If I take pictures while you do your dance, I can make you famous on Instagram. Hot damn it, woo. Your booty like 2 planets. Woo. Go ahead and go ham sandwich. Woo. Whoa, I can't stand it. 'Cause you know what to do with that big fat butt. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
All right, and we are back, not at the tunnel top.
No longer at the tunnel top.
No longer at the tunnel top.
It's all right, though. No big deal.
Yeah, we had like a little emergency, very exciting emergency during the break where
SFBarkast laws are very strict, and they say in the event of an emergency, you must return to the first bar that you ever
exactly
went to.
You have to go back to your home base.
Exactly.
And that's where we are. We're back in the mission. But
we don't write the laws.
We had this exciting emergency where they changed the locks of my apartment, and my old roommate needed to get in. And
why,
so we had to rush back.
Why didn't you listen to me and when I said, let's lie about what we did,
right.
Make up a great story.
Also, by the way, did I say it was an exciting emergency? I meant it was a very boring emergency that nobody gives a shit about.
You know, one of those season 3 episodes of Emergency where Randolph Mantooth is not even on the show.
Mantooth. Is that someone's real name?
Randolph Mantooth, the star of the show Emergency about firemen in the 1970s. It was like the Adam 12 of firemen.
Oh, wait, wasn't that guy, he was Native American, right?
No, I don't think so.
How do you get a name like Mantooth? Oh, I guess you just have a shitty agent in L.A.
Exactly. He didn't say, hey, we should change that name to Randolph Tigertooth.
He's like, what's your name, kid? Manstein. Now you're Mantooth.
now you're Randolph Chandler.
So here we are at Gestalt, and half of me, I'm kind of upset because that happened, and I actually really like the tunnel top.
Yeah, me too.
In the short 30 minutes that we were there.
Yeah.
But
they did good.
It also gives us an opportunity to come back to Gestalt, and we try at SF Barkast, we try not to do the bar twice, but this is my favorite bar. It's so close to my apartment,
exactly.
And it's just it's basically like home.
Exactly. We did 2 segments. It counts.
This bar is this is like my Cheers. If there was pinball and cocaine at Cheers.
Well, you still haven't seen any of the latest season of Kroll's show yet, have you?
No, I haven't.
There's there's a really great Cheers parody with Larry Bird. That's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's yeah. But I was gonna say, did they really get Larry Bird? I realized no, it's not really Larry Bird.
But I just love because Nick Kroll plays Larry Bird, and
young Larry Bird,
and about every 5 minutes he has to stop to lay down on his stomach on the bar and stretch out his back. Be like, oh, my back hurts. I'm sorry.
I feel like there are some people that just I like sports figures. I mean, there's many sports figures that I love, but they're Larry Bird's one of them, of course, because I'm from Boston.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Wade Boggs is another one, and not just because of the Boston thing, but because he was a complete fucking drunk.
Right.
He was probably the last great drunk hitter. Supposedly he drank 56 beers on a cross-country flight.
The national hero.
And supposedly in the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they've taken that upon themselves. They hear that Wade Boggs drank 56 beers on a cross-country flight,
and so possible.
They try to do it. And at one point, one of the characters, is I don't think I can go on. I've had so many beers.
Right.
And then he has this vision where he wakes up and the real Wade Boggs is sitting next to him, and he's like, "Hey, Charlie, you gotta fight through this. Do you think I gave up in the World Series that I won? No, I didn't."
And gave up 42 beers in.
And another one is Mike Tyson, who is a complete brute, right? He has one of my favorite quotes where they asked him after one of his fights. They asked him about how he was able to overcome his opponent's strategy
Right.
of doing whatever. And he said, like, strategy is like, you know what? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, which is a really like clever thing for Mike Tyson to say.
Exactly. It's like Zen Buddhism on a very deep level.
It's like, yeah, we worked like months on this like strategy to beat you, and to get punched in the face once, and it's like, yeah, it's over.
Well, okay, but like speaking of people that Bostonians have an irrational love for, did you hear about the recent dust up between Kurt Schilling and and Twitter?
Twitter trolls?
Yeah, exactly. Twitter
Yeah,
trolls
and
going after his daughter of all
And
people.
If you like the story, just like go download some of Dan Patrick's like podcast from like this week, because
Right.
he beat that horse into glue. Okay.
Nice.
But my thing, like, I think basically what happened is like Kurt Schilling wrote on Twitter, "Congratulations to my daughter. She's going to go play softball for Salve Regina
Right.
in Rhode Island." And like all these Twitter trolls, like, you know, just like started saying all these horrible things. Like they were like
Right.
talking about like comparing his bloody sock to her tampon,
Aw.
and like all like, you know, basically like threatening, "Oh, I can't wait to like, you know, be a frat guy there and rape her," or something like that.
Right.
Which is like, and you know what, like, you know me, like I love the Red Sox and I hate Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
But he was like totally right. Like he said on
sure he
Dan
was,
Patrick
yeah.
that, like, you know what, his first reaction was like, you know what, I'll just like drive in my car and I'll go and I'll kill these guys. But like, it's not Kurt Schilling doing it. It's just like a guy whose daughter got threatened.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like, I mean, it's not like somebody's called you a dick on
Right.
Twitter, because that is like, there's nothing like you know, out of the ordinary of that. But it's like when people are like,
I'm sure Kurt Schilling is called a dick every day, 100 times a day.
yeah, he's over that.
Right.
But it's like, you know, when you're joking or threatening, like, you know, it may be a joke to you, but it sounds like a rape threat. It's like, you know,
Right.
come on, like that's. And then, like, I guess what he did, like, instead of like driving down to New Jersey, like, good job, Jersey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like both of these guys, like the two main culprits. Like one was like at a community college in on the Jersey Shore.
And the other
Shout
was
out
like-
to Steve Henry, friend of the show. And the other
It's like Montclair State.
exactly, Montclair State.
Yeah.
And like was like a vice president of a frat there. And so it's like you're dealing with like a frat guy and like a 1 hour a week like radio like sports guy like at a college, a community college radio station. Like there is something to be said for like sort of the theory of like always like you should always be punching up, and like somebody who's like like of Kurt Schilling's stature. I know it's a terrible thing to like go after like someone's daughter or whatever, but like at the same time, like, you know, like don't use your unimaginable power as one of the winners of the 2004 World Series to beat up on a couple of like assholes from
Although,
Jersey.
you know, like I give him credit. Like, you know, like I said, it's not Kurt Schilling. It's like some like guy who's a
Right,
dad,
right.
like standing up
Yeah,
for his
yeah.
like daughter. But like, the thing is, like, people are like, basically what he did to get back at him is that like he basically like found out, like, his whole thing when I heard his interview was he was saying, like, you know, this whole people get like Twitter muscles
Yeah.
and like internet muscles where
Oh,
they
yeah.
think like, oh yeah, none of this can ever come back to me. And
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about at all. I have never been mean to anyone on the internet ever.
I know your record is clear.
I'm famous for being nice to people on the internet.
But like what Schilling was saying is like, you know, like what people don't understand is like this like notion that like there's like internet anonymity because you're using like a what do you call it, like an avatar.
Yeah, or
It's
like
like
a
it's
fake
a
name
myth.
or whatever.
It's like
yeah.
if anybody can find out who you are.
Oh
and-
yeah.
And what he did was he went to and he wrote the colleges those two guys were at, and like I think like one of them lost his like DJ job, the other one got kicked out of college, and then there was like this backlash or a blowback where people were like, well, you know what, like they were acting like bullies, and you acted like a bully and you ruined these kids' lives. And I'm like, my take is
Right,
like,
right.
you know what? Like, I'm not standing up for those fucking idiots.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
Like, yeah,
like
like-
if you think like making like a rape joke is funny, then
Yeah, exactly,
whatever.
yeah.
But I will also I want to point out that when people say like, oh, Kurt Schilling ruined these kids' lives. First off, one of them was a community college DJ, so his life was already ruined. The other one was going to Montclair State, so like he didn't really have a future anyway.
Yeah, like-
so like
His
yeah.
future was basically date rape.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's it for them. Like you
Right,
know
right.
people who like peak in high school, these guys like peak right there, and now they have to go back to their miserable lives.
Right, right.
I mean, like, are they as bad as Yelp reviewers? Maybe. I
Right.
don't know. But you know, like, and it pains me to say this, but like, yeah, like I'm with Shill on that one.
Right.
You know, like I don't agree with him. Don't agree with his politics. Don't
Right.
agree with him like running a company into the ground or fucking up like Rhode Island. But like, yeah, like I mean, when it comes to like defending your daughter, like, yeah, have at it, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
And also, hopefully, like the next like, you know, generation of Twitter trolls might think twice about like writing stupid stuff.
Well, yeah,
That's probably the most optimistic thing I have ever or will ever say.
Right.
Maybe Twitter trolls will learn. No, they won't. They're Twitter trolls.
Right. And like, I went to my grave thinking that maybe Twitter trolls would someday learn their lesson, but
Hey, Twitter trolls. If not now, then when?
exactly.
Never. That's the answer to that. So
Twitter lives matter.
So we're at Gestalt. I just want to tell a quick story about like the bar Gestalt, because I think the last time we were here was like a long time ago.
Okay.
So
You think we have no way of knowing? You're like, I think, I don't know.
it's not like I have anything to do with this.
Memories.
So so this is what happened. Like last year,
Uh-huh.
they had a doorman here working at Gestalt
Right.
who happened to sell some illegal drugs to a cop. You know,
Or something.
and I guess like the cop, there was a rumor that like the cop was trying to buy pot, and then like the doorman upsold them to coke, but that's not true.
Right.
And I know what you're
It's
saying.
a great story.
I know what
mean,
you're
like,
saying. You're saying, well, Jeff, it's not true. Why did you just say it? I was like, yes, because it's a great story.
It is.
Whoever
yeah,
came
like,
up with it.
Right.
But that's not what happened. What happened
okay,
is
what did
the
happen?
cop came and bought some pot from a doorman, and then
Already dumb, but go ahead.
and then like the cop came back 6 more times and bought from the doorman again. I don't think in the same night,
Right.
but you get the feeling that the cop was just like, really, you're gonna make me fucking do this? Because can you imagine this cop like taking this doorman back to the fucking like police station?
I'd like to buy some pot, and look at my badge that's in front of you.
Right. It's like, hey, knock it off, sir. So, can you imagine this cop handcuffing this guy, bringing him to the police station, and all of his coworkers saying, oh, who's the perp? What did this guy do? And he's like, I busted this guy for marijuana. And just sitting back and letting the tsunami of laughter from his coworkers just hydrate every pore in his body. It's like, you know, like, yes, I busted this guy for selling me something that you can get anywhere
Right.
with a doctor's note for anybody who's afraid of heights.
Exactly. Like, yeah, like, do you know
So-
the word anxiety? Then guess what? Like, you qualify.
So I guess like part of the deal is the bar here, they got busted, and the cop, like part of like the punishment is that they had to be closed for a month, but the bar gets to choose the month.
That's
So
great.
right
Like,
after the holidays.
That's kind of cool, actually. Like,
Yeah.
like everyone's like, oh, we get a month off. Like, fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. Like that. Like I know the bartenders here; they're all great. And like, you know, like if you're working at a place and you're like, I want to go on a vacation. Like, can somebody
Yeah.
cover my shifts? Like all the guys who work here are just like, travel. It's all travel
Exactly.
time. So for a month, like some of them went to Asia, some of them went to
Nice. Excellent.
you know, New Orleans.
Right.
But like they chose, I think like January 7th to February 7th that they would be closed.
I wondered why so many of the bartenders smelled like Thailand horse.
Like Gary Glitter.
Hey, Gary Glitter.
Um,
Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
Speaking of Gary Glitter, Barry Sobel. No. So anyway, they closed for a month,
Right.
and now they're back open. They kind of realigned the bar in that, like, they put up a couple more signs. They just kind of buffed it up a little bit, and they brought all the pinball tables to the front. So, like, if you're walking by, everybody can see the pinball. And like now, this place is a pinball destination. They have like five solid pinball games.
One of those PDs, pinball destinations.
PD. Like not VD, but PD.
Not VD. Right.
By the way, I'm going off on a tangent here because we've been drinking all afternoon. Here's a story I've never told in the podcast. Oh wait, here's another episode, or here's another installment of, here's a story Jeff probably shouldn't tell, but he's going to do it anyway.
Please, go ahead.
So I have a friend in LA who has a friend who is a pharmacist in, like, Marina Del Rey.
Right. Already, I feel like this is illegal to even say, but go ahead.
And he said that, he's like, of course I can't reveal any names, but I just want to let you know that virtually every celebrity, the high majority of every celebrity that I see in my data bank has a prescription for Valtrex, which is a herpes medication.
Right.
And towards the end of last year, I happened to be sitting in my living room with Greg Edwards, friend of the show, kind of like LA comic, and Chris Garcia, LA comic.
Right.
And I told them that story, and Chris just says, I can't wait to get that famous that I get like VD. So I get herpes.
Right. It's the celebrity disease.
It's like, yeah, I got herpes, but guess who I got it from?
I got the good Gwyneth Paltrow herpes.
Oh, really? I heard it's not as good as the Jennifer Lawrence herpes. I think we should just say that we do not think, SFBarkast does not think that Gwyneth Paltrow or Jennifer Lawrence has herpes. Possibly Chris Garcia or Greg Edwards, but not those three.
They all have herpes.
I don't want to offend anybody who's got high-powered lawyers.
Indeed. All right. Want to
take
a quick break?
One more? We'll take a break. But like, I want to say one last thing.
Oh, please.
I think I've said I want to say one last thing like 8 times, by the way. Okay.
God damn it.
But I checked on the internet, and so far, Harrison Ford is still alive.
Oh, thank God. Han Solo is still alive.
Isn't that like a Perry Como album? Like Perry Como is still alive.
That's right. Still alive from Montana.
All right, so this is SF Barkast, and we're at Gestalt, not the TunnelTop. Our apologies to the TunnelTop. We'll see. We'll see you. We'll see you after I go to the bathroom. All right, and we are back at Gestalt House.
Indeed.
Not the TunnelTop.
Not the
Although
TunnelTop.
we are going to pretend like we're at the TunnelTop for bad Yelp reviews.
Yes, we will.
So, Andrew, like the aforementioned trivia night that I host at the Right Spot on 17th and Folsom, the first Wednesday of every month.
Exactly. I was not able to attend this time, so I haven't heard any of the questions asked.
But, Andrew, you have felt the glory of basking in the winner's circle of a Jeff Cleary trivia implosion, right?
I have. And
I believe
and it was maybe the greatest moment of my life.
I believe, like, you explained it as it's like mainlining heroin, but better.
Right. I basically, like, as soon as
Shout out to
me and my wife won, I turned to my wife and I said, I apologize to our wedding, but like that day sucked big giant dicks compared to this.
That's right, and my apologies to any of our heroin users out there who think that like me comparing like winning trivia is better than heroin.
Hey, let's name all the heroin addicts we know. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Robert Zachary.
Nice. Ooh, happy birthday.
Okay, so Robert Zachary does not do heroin. I hope not. Although he does live in Seattle. All right, so here I'm going to read you a couple trivia questions, and I picked one for you just because like you're a geography guy.
Uh-oh.
I
on.
had a special round called, the special round was called We're Number 2.
Ooh.
So these are all number 2.
These are all countries covered in shit.
That's funny. It's like, number 1 is urinating. What is number 2?
Manila.
By area, Russia is the largest country in the world. By area.
Right.
What is number 2?
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Hell yeah.
Right out of the gate. Look at you.
You know, I saw that question somewhere recently. It might have been on like Trivia Crack or one of those like applications on the phone.
Andrew, are you calling me a trivia hack?
Not at all.
Are
I'm
you
just
saying I'm the Barry Sowell of trivia?
No, I'm saying that like coming at a geography major with such a whack-ass question as that. Like, like.
All right, how about this? And you should be able
All
to
right.
get this as well. Who is the actor-comedian who became the...
Robin Williams. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I can't say you're wrong. Because
okay.
I said, who is the actor-comedian? You said Robin Williams.
There we go.
So far, the question, you got it right.
All right.
Who is the actor-comedian to become the first entertainer ever nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Ooh. Entertain. Oh, was it Mr. Hewson? Mr.
Who?
Bono Hewson?
No. I'll give
Oh.
you a hint. He was nominated in 1977.
77. So Cat Stevens?
For converting to Islam, Cat Stevens got nominated for the
That's good for him.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Anne Murray?
No. So let me give you another hint. I didn't know this, but maybe you get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for being a condescending asshole to disabled people.
So Tom Cruise?
Jerry Lewis. You were close.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis.
Hey.
Ladies. All right, so
Cerebral palsy. You never did that.
no, you never did that.
Well,
Although it would have been appropriate. So next week we're going to do our college basketball preview, but I just wanted to like very quickly touch upon this week was the 25th anniversary of Hank Gathers dying. And if anybody doesn't know, Hank Gathers was like the leading scorer in college basketball 25 years ago.
Right.
He played for Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, and he had a heart condition. The game before, he collapsed, and
Right.
then they were like, it was like a Reggie Lewis thing where he was like, yeah, walk it off. And like, I guess he was on some medication, and he said it made him feel kind of like,
Lightheaded or whatever. Yeah.
kind of like lethargic.
Yeah.
And so the rumor is that he stopped taking the medication and then he died of a heart attack. And also the other rumor is that at the gym they had a defibrillator, but nobody went and got it. So
Boo hiss.
if there's anything to be taken away from the tragic Hank Gathers death of 25 years ago, is go use the fucking defibrillator.
Like, I'm like the thing that shocked me most about Hank Gathers was that the Celtics hadn't drafted him already.
He was probably on their big board.
Yeah, probably.
I have to admit.
They'd probably had a couple promising phone calls. They're like, you know what, this is going to turn everything around.
But you know, look, okay, so I'm going to keep this very quick, short, but like, a lot of people complain about college basketball nowadays because they have like a one and done thing where all these young guys, like they just want to go to the pros.
Right.
But it's more than, for me, it's more than that. What I miss about college basketball, what I love, is like teams like LMU, where it's like, yeah, they were like this great team. They're basically the 5th best team in the country that year.
Right.
And like ever since then, LMU is like, when's the last time you heard about Loyola Marymount University? Like, never. It's like, but like college basketball used to be where it's like, you had like your UMass, you had your URI, you had your UNLV. And like a lot of, like now I kind of feel like it's getting more like college football, where it's like, yeah, like Kentucky's going to be good, Louisville's going to be good.
Right.
Although, you know what, like Wichita State was really good last year, or the last 2 years, and like Butler's been good the last few years. So I guess they still have those sort of like outliers.
Right.
But
I feel like it's weird. Like you talk about like Loyola Marymount, and I feel like that there's like Loyola Marymount, like Pepperdine, and like UCSB are like 3 schools that are actually on the beach, but then like so many people from around the world are suckered into going to USC and UCLA and all these these schools that are nowhere near the beach. Loyola Marymount's if people visited that campus, it would be as popular as going to UCLA or USC.
Is it surprising that those 3 schools that you mentioned suck?
I know, it is kind of surprising because you would think that would be such an easy recruitment tool.
No, but if you're going to school in Pepperdine, I can't imagine even doing your fucking homework.
That's true.
If you've seen the campus at Pepperdine,
right.
Pepperdine in Malibu,
right.
it's on this cliff overlooking all these surf,
right.
this amazing surf. Hell, the name of their team is the Waves.
Right.
And it's I can't imagine anybody getting anything done because you're just hey, you know what? Playing basketball is a lot of fun,
right.
but
smoking pot and hanging out on the beach is
smoking
pretty
pot
fun
and surfing and meeting all these beautiful blonde girls is
right.
also really fun. If you go to USC, you're in the middle of Compton. And you're yeah, I'll play basketball. I want to get the fuck out of here.
That's right. I gotta succeed. I gotta afford the gas to get the fuck out of here right now.
Jesus Christ.
Excellent.
So you want to do some dad Yelp reviews?
Sure, why not?
So
first we have to magically transport back to the tunnel top. And you know what? I really enjoy the tunnel top. So I'm really gonna disagree with almost any of the bad Yelp reviews.
I agree with you right there.
Do you want to go first or should I?
Do you have 2? I only have 1. So you go first.
I will go first.
And I'll go.
So Hema K or Hema K, H-E-M-A-K, weird name already, from Mission
Fucking
Viejo.
Hater. Oh, sorry. No,
Which, Southern California. Writes, and I'm going to try to be as drunk as I'm assuming Hema was, but we'll see if it comes across. So she says, "What can I write about this place when I was not allowed in? And where is the negative star?
I love it.
This place don't even deserve 1 star. Eek! Me thinks not, and so do my friends. Why? 'Cause I was ... I don't remember as I was bit drunk and the guy who, quote, checkpoints, unquote, the ID thought we were drunk and did not allow us in, ! Duh, as if I'm trouble. I'm so opposite of trouble when it comes to drunken state. Anyway, we were not all drunk except me, maybe. Waste of time waking up the stairs to tunnel top after bar hopping. From now on, me and my friends never ever attempt to check this place. Even when we are sober, I'm gonna take a big hop from tunnel top. Next time when me and my friends go bar hopping." It was all 1 sentence. There was no punctuation.
You know what she says? Even when I'm sober, I feel like that's never going to come into the equation for this person.
So far, never happened.
I love this this person's attitude because she's ask anybody I know. I'm not a problem when I'm drunk, and it's that is
and then it's maybe I am drunk.
That is every drunk person's creed. And
right.
I recently have had a little bit of dealings with having to dial back your friends when they're a little too drunk. And the first thing they always say is, "What? No, I'm fine. I'm fine." And first thing you got to know about alcohol consumption, and believe me, I've done a lot of fucking research into this, is that it impairs your judgment. That's
right.
why it's illegal to drive when you're hammered.
Right.
And you shouldn't ride your bike when you're hammered. Still, it's fun, but you shouldn't ride your bike.
It's also fun to drive.
But the whole thing about where it's ask anybody. I'm a life of the party when I'm drunk. It's I'm willing to bet you're not. I'm willing to bet you're the pain in the ass when you're drunk, and you're insisting that you can do whatever you want when you're drunk.
I'm willing to bet that most of watching you be drunk involves watching you bargain with people.
And also, give me this fucking thing. I love it where, one of the things she said, I would write. She's like, what can I write about this place when I wasn't even allowed in? It's
that's so great because you instantly cut your legs off as far as credibility. You're Like, I don't even have a point to make, and here I go.
She's like, the guy who checkpoints the ID thought we were drunk and did not allow us in. Duh, as if I'm in trouble. It's like this guy. He comes over and tells me like I started it. He's like the guy in the fight. It was like, hey, quit acting like I started it. Like, I don't care who started. You're in a fight.
Right.
But anyway, it's like, she's like, what can I say about this place when I wasn't allowed in? Generally speaking, people who write reviews, like, if I was going to,
like the name of Yelp should be like I wasn't allowed in.com.
If I was going to write a review of a movie and I wasn't allowed in, I wouldn't like forge forward and like still write the review of the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I mean, like, unless, is this person like standing outside looking in the window and like writing the review? It's like, this place is pretentious, even though I'm standing on the street and I'm looking in.
Can you imagine like a film reviewer, like Gene Siskel, like turning in a review where it was like, I wanted to see Jaws, but I showed up naked, and apparently they're not okay with that. So
the movie sucked.
That's right, 1 star, Jaws.
They wouldn't let me in, and therefore that means it's the worst movie ever made.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
That's great.
All right, so let me go now. I have a 1-star review from Harmonique S.
Did you just say Harmonique?
Harmonique. It's like the French Drew Harmon.
Can you give us a spelling? Is it Harmon?
Harmon.
Right.
IQUE.
Nice. All right.
It actually sounds like a character Drew Harmon would play in an SNL sketch.
It sounds like a she-male. That's what it sounds like.
You said it.
If I meet someone named Harmonique, I'm pretty sure they used to be a dude.
So Harmonique writes, I've been to TunnelTop. Oh my God.
All right.
So sorry.
I'm Andrew Lauder. I'm Jeff Cleary.
Good night, everybody. Turn the lights off. Okay, so I've been to TunnelTop quite a few times.
Right.
The bar is fine, but I have to give it 1 star for the rudeness of the blonde girl who happens to bartend there with incredibly nasty attitude towards people. Very moody, rude, obnoxious. If you have problems with attitude, don't work as a bartender. Please. This place could be so much better without her.
Oh.
This place could be so much better without her. Never coming back again. And I can't pretend to speak for the people who run TunnelTop, but when a bad Yelp review concludes with "I'm never coming back again,"
right?
They're just like high-fiving each other. They're like, "Oh, really? That would be awful if this bitter asshole never darkened our fucking bar ever again."
We were totally banking on this place being popular with bitter assholes.
Right. It's okay, so Harmonique, I guess that's a girl, right? Yeah, I would assume so.
Sure.
I was going to make fun of this Yelp reviewer being like, okay, there's some blonde girl that is not picking up on my sloppy passes, right. But I think Harmonique is a girl. So I mean, I don't know, maybe still San Francisco, anything's possible.
Indeed.
All right, why don't you bring it home with one more? Or you don't have any more?
I'm done.
Okay, fuck that. All right, so once again, thank you to all the Yelp reviewers.
Do you have any plugs?
Wait, I'm not
done.
done.
I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Right. Thank you to all the Yelp reviewers.
Right.
I think you're all subhuman, and I think you should all die, but we love what you write.
That's right. I secretly hope that your every Yelp review is a suicide note, but good on you for doing it anyway.
Yeah, we applaud all of your efforts because it fuels all of our comedy.
Indeed.
So, what is your final analysis, Phil Giwanu, of the TunnelTop?
Of the TunnelTop, I actually really enjoyed it. I was surprised. I sort of assumed that it was more of a financial district style shitty dive bar that is overpriced and just serves like drunk businessmen in the middle of the day. But like, I was pleasantly surprised. I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I have to go with you as well. Like there's a place when I first walked in there, I was like, this is not my type of place. It's a little, to the untrained eye, it's like, hey, you immediately think, this is going to be kind of douchey. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, totally.
I thought the space was great. To be completely honest, like I liked all the art that we were making fun of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think like our like criticism of art is like basically coming from a perspective that we don't really know a whole lot about art.
I mean,
it's easy and it's fun to make fun of people.
It's no painting of Obama mixed into the $5 bill portrait of Lincoln that's at 111 Minute. But
I love that. I love that. Do you have any plugs?
Just a couple of things. Like I watched Last Man on Earth with Will Forte.
How was
on
that?
Fox. It was pretty good, actually. Not
Can
bad.
I say, like, I started watching the latest season of House of Cards.
Oh yeah, is that good?
I've only watched like 2 episodes of it,
Yeah.
but if we as a society, like are going to progress, that's the way things should go. Where it's like I love that the whole Netflix sort of their formula, where it's like, all right,
Dump everything all at once.
The new season's out. Here's like 15 episodes.
Yeah, go nuts.
It's not like I'm watching Better Call Saul, which is great.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like you watch one episode and then you have to wait a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like a fucking idiot. And then
like a goddamn communist waiting for bread.
it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like when you have like these Netflix like series, you're just like, they're like, hey, here they are, boom, have at it. So
go nuts, asshole.
I mean, and actually, I do like the new season so far. I've only watched 2
Oh, cool.
episodes.
Nice, yeah. Actually, episode 2, it really kicks in. So
Which one?
Of Better Call Saul.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
do. And actually, the fact that they cast Michael McKean as Bob Odenkirk's older brother,
Yeah.
it's just perfect because you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
totally see those guys being brothers.
Like I'm not 100% into that show yet. Like just because like.
Well, then what are you waiting for?
I feel like Bob Odenkirk's character needs it's not very sympathetic at this point. I mean like it's a pretty unsympathetic character to begin with.
Yeah, and he's not the greatest actor, but
Exactly, yeah.
he does, you know what he's good at is kind of being like whiny and pathetic.
Right, and like angry and like
Which is what his character is.
Yeah. And the other thing I saw was the movie John Wick with
Keanu Reeves.
With Keanu Reeves is terrible. I hated it. I hated it so
really?
much.
I was.
I heard a lot of people say it was
I
great.
heard a lot of people say it was really good.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Doug Loves Movies, but whatever. Those guys are stoned all the time.
It was like a I don't know. It had this weird vibe of like video game to it, where everyone he shoots like the back of their head blows out onto the wall, and there's so much it happens so many times that you just get dead into it, where you're like it feels like a bad video game.
Remember like the back in the day when seeing someone's like brains blow out onto the wall, like that really was shocking.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays, it's
and plus halfway through the movie, I thought like this movie has a really weird vibe to it. Like who directed it? And I looked the guy up, and he was basically Keanu Reeves' stunt double for The Matrix, and then sort of stumbled his way into directing.
What?
And so the whole fucking movie, after you learn that, it makes total sense, because it's the whole movie is hey, let's get stuntmen to wear squibs and have their heads shot out 50 times.
now it bothers me that people said it was good, because that sounds horrible.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. Anyway.
I'd like to say one more thing about being desensitized to violence. I forgot who it was, but there was some comic at the open mic at Doc's Lab on Columbus Street on Monday nights who said that he was playing Grand Theft Auto the other day, and then he had this realization. He's like, you know what? These cops are just doing their jobs. I love that joke.
Anyway,
all right. Are you before we sign off, do you want one more trivia question?
Actually, let me give one final shout out to my new dog. which is a
Friend of the show.
Whose name, like, and I'm not really crazy about the name
What
yet.
did you name the dog?
We haven't named it. Like, we took this dog from somebody, someone who was suffering from leukemia and like dying and there's a whole story behind it.
Ugh.
But like
Gross.
we don't feel comfortable changing the name.
Oh my God, what's the dog's name?
The dog's name is Bailey, which like I'm not fond
It's not
of.
bad.
But yeah, but it's a Wheaton Terrier, and so I wanted to name it Constance.
Is it a Portuguese water dog?
No, it's a Wheaton Terrier with a big giant Todd Glass head.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
Well,
go ahead.
I hope you'll-
Give me one last question, and we'll.
All right, one last and here's a question that like more than half of like the teams last night got, and I was like, nobody's gonna get this.
No way, really. All right.
And this is from the We're Number 2 round. It is in the U.S. Corn is the largest agricultural crop, largest legal agricultural crop. What is number 2? What's the number 2 largest legal agricultural crop in the United States?
Wow. After corn. Is it tobacco?
Nope.
Is it sorghum?
What's that?
I don't know.
No, it is. You were close though, because it is soybean.
Soybeans. Ah.
Soybean is second, and wheat is third.
Wow.
I would have guessed wheat, but like I couldn't believe how many people was like, oh yeah, it's soybean.
It's funny, like you say wheat because last week on the show, as mentioned, R.I.P. Harris Whittles.
Yep.
But one of my favorite Harris Whittles tweets of all time is he said he tweeted wheat thins. Call me when they're wheat thicks because give me that wheat. And it's such a dumb tweet. I love it.
Very sad about Harris Whittles. He just seemed like he was like the funniest, he was like the most effortless, funny guy you're ever gonna come
Had
in
just
contact.
turned 30, which is fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah, you and I saw him when he had to be like 24.
I know, yeah.
At like the
maybe
fucking
even younger, yeah.
so
Fucking crazy. All right.
All right, so I think that's it. Like, I don't have any plugs. Go to Doc's Lab for the open mic on Monday nights. Go to the Right Spot on the first Wednesday of every month for trivia, and we'll see you all next time. I'm Jeff Cleary.
Oh, I'm Andrew Lauder.
And we'll see you next time in the bods.